What if the most powerful thing you could ever do is saying nothing at all, not because you have nothing to say, but because you understand something most people never will. There is a force, invisible, quiet, almost impossible to explain, that lives inside silence. And the ones who have discovered it, they don't talk about it. They don't need to think about the last time you were in a room with someone truly powerful, not loud, not aggressive, not performing, just present, still, calm, unreadable, and yet something about them pulled every eye in the room, every ear, every thought. You felt it, didn't you? That strange gravity, that invisible weight, like the air around them, was somehow heavier. That wasn't confidence in the way we normally talk about confidence. That wasn't charm. It wasn't charisma in the traditional sense. That was silence, weaponized, mastered, perfected. And today, I'm going to take you deep into the psychology of why speaking less makes you more powerful than almost anything else you could ever learn. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear, might change the way you move through the world forever. The ancient secret they never taught you there is a reason the most dangerous animals in nature are the quiet ones. The wolf doesn't announce itself before the hunt. The snake doesn't warn you before it strikes. The deep ocean makes almost no sound at all, and yet it holds mysteries that have never been fully explored. Noise is surface level. Silence is depth. Throughout all of human history, across every culture, every civilization, every era of time, the figures who carried the most power were almost always the ones who spoke the least. The ancient Stoics of Greece had a philosophy. They believed the greatest sign of wisdom was knowing when to remain silent. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, once said something that has echoed through centuries. He said that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use them in that proportion. But most people have reversed that equation completely, and it is costing them more than they realize. In ancient China, Lao Tzu wrote words that still feel like a whisper across thousands of years of time. He wrote, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." Read that again slowly in your mind. Those who know do not speak. There is something almost unsettling about that, isn't there? Because it suggests that the people around us who talk the most may actually understand the least, and the ones sitting quietly in the corner, observing, listening, processing. Those people may be the most dangerous minds in the room. Sun Tzu, the legendary military strategist whose words have guided warriors and leaders for over 2,000 years, understood something profound. He wrote, "If you are strong, appear weak. If you are weak, appear strong." Silence is the greatest disguise ever invented. It hides your strength. It conceals your intelligence. It makes people underestimate you. And being underestimated, is one of the greatest advantages a person can ever possess. Because when someone underestimates you, they lower their guard. They reveal themselves. They give you everything you need, while receiving nothing from you in return. The psychology of MYSTOY. Let me tell you something about the human brain, something that psychologists have studied for decades. The brain does not like incomplete information. It is biologically, neurologically, deeply uncomfortable with mystery. When you don't understand something, your brain works overtime trying to fill in the gaps. It creates stories. It builds narratives. It imagines dot, and here is where it gets interesting. When those stories are about a person who is quiet, calm, revealing very little, the brain almost always fills that mystery with something impressive dot with depth, with intelligence, with power. This is what psychologists call projection. Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in the history of psychology, described it like this dot: when we encounter someone whose inner world is hidden from us dot, we project onto them the qualities we most associate with mystery itself. Wisdom, strength, authority. The quiet person becomes a screen onto which others project greatness dot and perception. Is reality dot? Think about the most mysterious characters in cinema, in literature, in history dot. They rarely speak in long paragraphs. They say one sentence and walk away, and that one sentence echoes in your mind for days dot. Why? Because your brain can't complete the picture dot. It keeps reaching, keeps wondering, what did they mean? What are they thinking? What do they know that I don't? That curiosity is a form of attention, and attention is a form of power. When you control what people think about, you control them, and silence is the most elegant way to achieve that. Control dot. Now here is the uncomfortable truth that most people never face. When you talk too much, you hand people a complete map of your mind. They know your opinions, your fears, your insecurities, your intentions dot. There is no mystery left. And when mystery dies dot, so does respect dot. Think about someone you know who talks constantly dot. Someone who fills every silence, explains every thought, justifies every decision. Do you find yourself hanging on their every word? Or do their words begin to blur together after a while? Now think about someone who speaks rarely, who chooses words carefully, who lets silence breathe in the spaces between sentences, whose words land like stones dropped in still water. The second person stays in your memory longer. Their words mean more. Their presence feels more significant that this is not an accident. The confidence paradox. Here is something that will make you rethink everything you've been told about confidence. Most people believe that confidence looks like speaking boldly, taking up space, projecting energy outward. And while that can be a form of confidence dot, it is rarely the deepest form. Because here is the truth about insecurity. Insecurity is loud. Insecurity fills silence because silence feels dangerous dot. When an insecure person sits in silence, they feel exposed, like the silence is somehow revealing their inadequacy dot. So they speak, they explain, they justify, they perform, they laugh a little too loudly, they agree a little too quickly. They are constantly, desperately broadcasting the message that they are worthy, that they are enough, that they belong. But genuinely confident people, they are comfortable inside silence because they are not trying to prove anything. Not to you, not to the room, not to anyone. Their worth is not something they need to demonstrate. It exists independently of your opinion, and that is the most attractive, most magnetic, most powerful quality a human being can possess. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need agreement. It doesn't need to fill the space. It simply is. When you stop speaking to fill silence, when you stop explaining yourself to people who didn't ask for an explanation, when you stop performing for the approval of people who are barely paying attention, something shifts. Others begin to sense something different about you. They can't name it exactly, but they feel it. A kind of solidity, a groundedness, like you are a fixed point in a world of movement, and people are naturally, almost helplessly drawn to fixed points. Because in a world of chaos and noise and constant movement, stillness is rare, and what is rare is valuable. The intelligence of OBSCRV1 here is a question no one asks often enough. Where does real power actually come from? Most people would say money, status, connections, strength. And those things certainly play a role. But underneath all of them, underneath every form of lasting power, is information. The person who understands the situation most clearly always has the advantage. The person who knows what others want, what they fear, what they're hiding, what they're planning. That person is always 3 steps ahead, and silence is how you gather that information. When you are speaking, you are revealing. Every word you say tells the listener something about your thoughts, your values, your intentions. You are essentially handing them a weapon. But when you are listening, truly, deeply, silently listening, the other person does something fascinating. They fill the silence, and as they fill it, they reveal everything. Their insecurities, their motivations, their fears, their desires, the things they're proud of, the things that keep them awake at 3 in the morning. All of it comes pouring out into the patient, silent ears of someone who knows how to receive it.